Na and Monday, October 23, 2023. And time just about gone 25 minutes past 1. Na me man tijumedi na yede ebremo eye enadwoi. Me man tijumedi yede free neat 100.9 FM so na yede eba. Tijumedi mi amidi ho chia me yefra me ADAKABRI Mamudu Osiuma. Na production no esi panyin Kwadwo Damiado na so. Yo fa se Majeri osai agyeman ebo ne chidom. Nana akuya afriye na esebese mrante kwa no emienu. Technical production say various social media handles nyina that the ensem no si ekono abna frema abankro na wone nana ya osafo wone so etoto de mayen engineering group say echinchim fidie no funuma ma munyina mote yanka no achu agbo worker betia kwa nana ajare nana abuaje adasankroma da nyina sanemrane say sempro ansa na eno akire no so no na ye de aseda so de ama facilities group for no the facilities group for yi na big solo na dada na Godfred dodo na friend Yubnana na Sami yaw na Mapuna na fe so DJ Bosco na Mills nso ya saramrane say tetai na bibia timi akọ ye ede ama yene na nei chicha kakra na feso no democrata na no pay bebeduru ye no animu nsem ebi ensoso ewo ho no mo a yebeyi na yede aba na afi eno akiri no empanifo so beba betena se na yadwendwene ye ho na ye ho a ye ho se de besi aye Enei nsemu a ekoso ewo frau neja na yehwehwe mmoa de ama oman ma entisan na mmoa no esi eko emu nsem bi mpo a eba se yebeti afri mepe se honorable member Sam Oku Jeto Ablakwa se mfidi a sojafo de abaho yeyi mfidie no asade akose yese yenyi mfidie no na asojafo so asade abaso se yenye se yeyi mfidie no nya de frefra naja na ebi ewo mepe na yesuso se mepe de no akofom kakrantinke yeyi de akobato na nipa no so kire se yente ye ho ase achinyijie we suso no san na yede ekowie na yahwe na yeteme adwendwene ho esie chesese wo hwe austere measures a aban ede aba na sa austere measures parliamentary cabinet retreat na omkoye or say government will spend within means next year upon kroma and what they can say na aban owusika bi mpokra say so the capital investment bi na dia na ama ya bedru mpomponso a yaduru bosia bo bebrebe no na ede yaduru say ya na in the next 14 months no yebeye dan ya na nyina no akoya de bia yebedwendwene ho na yede aba saa soso na MPP flag bearership en soso dabenia November 4 na wo mo eko na mpanifo no ewo ho no no na Alhaji Suleiman Yeremia nimfoni ne da ha sei so munya atenie no na munya asem okeka mo ho ano ensem no sign sitie lebehwe na yetimi adwendwene ho mabunu bi soso fixing the country movement one soso say wo mo akọ any protest akọ ano bankrum ma wo mo akọ ye picketing former president of the republic John Dramani Mahama ne private offices na no na ni NDC mabunu soso o ma sha ase say o mo soso akọ t-shirt aton say ne de o mo soso ekosiesie office wonom ene ne ntwolo ne ntwea so enti eno so omo so hihye ntare possible clash na yede ebe ya na ni nyina no yebetra se na yetimi adwendwene ho igusu netie neat 100.9 FM na in a minute na yemfa various newspapers na yensa aka no enimu nsem pampen no yentimi emfa ema mo sisi
Listen in here, and you ma beto to dia me baba no ho ade no. Hwem so betumi a. Asew. Now beka. Ya John to mami ensa duku potoman.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Always think Special Ice Natural Mineral Water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, catch it. Listen in here, and you ma beto to dia me baba no ho ade no. Hwem so betumi a. Asew. Now beka. Ya John to mami ensa duku potomanto. This way chocolate drink. Na kan wo hwe afibia so beri ni waware ne a. This way chocolate drink. Na kan sia. Asew. Udan klanu tumu ho. Me be mo anu nsu hye kura de aka ho. Wo hwe de wapi ho. O ka sa batete e da fom ho. This way chocolate drink.
Crash up a baba worry.
Aso.
Ye fear said this way chocolate drink, ya sorry, no pan on yenum. Ye bishop free genome no snack. Ye nya ho no ye de serve womo. Ye did really a pebibia bogu yad yaswa. This way chocolate drink in yenum. And at this one, what's yanua? Has it a wom, cocoa wom, brick wom, bibia wom, I don't hear any social.
This way chocolate drink.
You hear any social.
FDA, I just said you didn't crack to more jet to say a ye.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Always think Special Ice Natural Mineral Water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, catch it. Listen in here, and you ma beto to dia me baba no ho ade no. Hwem so betumi a. Asew. Now beka. Ya John to mami ensa duku potomanto. This way chocolate drink. Na kan wo hwe afibia so beri ni waware ne a. This way chocolate drink. Na kan sia. Asew. Udan klanu tumu ho. Me be mo anu nsu hye kura de aka ho. Wo hwe de wapi ho. O ka sa batete e da fom ho. This way chocolate drink.
Crash up a baba worry.
Aso.
Ye fear said this way chocolate drink, ya sorry, no pan on yenum. Ye bishop free genome no snack. Ye nya ho no ye de serve womo. Ye did really a pebibia bogu yad yaswa. This way chocolate drink in yenum. And at this one, what's yanua? Has it a wom, cocoa wom, brick wom, bibia wom, I don't hear any social.
This way chocolate drink.
You hear any social.
FDA, I just said you didn't crack to more jet to say a ye.
Neat 100.9 FM so any. And Monday, October 23, 2023. Na me man teach me dey na ye dey ebremo. Dwumadie me amedi ho chia me from ADAKABRI Mamudu Osioma. Yenhwe eye demokrata na yensaka ne ne. Na no pay na animu nsam ne bi na yenhwe. Ghanaian Times the photo the bia photo can some the chire na photo ne da ha sei sabieku atonko bia ewo fra naja a ensuo atwi de afa atonko no na atonko na chiri ane se wo baabi wanya baabi ankosa nsuo yodi nsuo ne kwakoye sa atonko no nsuo atwi afa so no a akiri ho ɛna ɔde ne bokiti a ɔde akɔsa nsuo de ɔde kɔyɛ na Ghanaian Times this picture ne de aba ɛna wa caption picture ne say a lady fetching water near a submerged toilet facility nti we oba fefe and ojina contamination and ho asema yeken na main story no na or say a Akonsombo dam spillage victims cry for more help as conditions worsen or say ene Akonsombo ensu a yebue ye ema abetwiafa enipa ne ajapade eso no wani a kan yen no yegusu a ye bobna se yehia emoa na wo ma setenam se de asia ye no enye ade papa kra obi odi mfinhia aduowotwe enum 85 years oba brewa na ne dan kakra watimu no nsuo na twi afa so na ba bia de ne kotena no o se ne ho hare no ne homete na animu ha ye biem Ghanaian Times na eno so photo Anita Nyako Yirenchi and the twa photo de baye and then so photo near caption say burnt shops at the mall. The main story no say fire ravages 200 shops at Makola shopping mall. Na di asem kura ni. I say and also so Makola nkna ha ya no. Eyen krofo so to dan mako ahanu and then also so no oja atomu a ahye ni nyina. Emu masempa ba kwa yete ya no so or say Omni BSIC Bank third quarter profit surpasses $150 million. Ghana Bank ba kwa wonso wo yire no ho. Omni Bank and BSIC. Nanka ye two separate banks. Ni aka so mu mienu ye hia se obi ankopɛ 400 million threshold ansa na odi aye na dwuma. Ɛna mu mienu ka bo mu. Na tikro nkwa agina ebinie omumienu ka bo mu no profit upon profit eninti se nei yesese wo mfa so a omunya ya na akoba se ebesi September ye twa mu se third quarter no eno emfa so omunya ye na eye 150 million cedis na omonsa etimi aka eno so ede aba. Was a man killed in Old Tafu youth clash. Mabunu bi eni se omati agina ewo eye Tafu. Na mabunu no omuti gina ye no eni se emu ana akwakowu se Kingsley Hope odi free Kumasi aba. Nipa baako ena se si ye watore ye. Abra mabunu no asori ewo eye Tafu. Daily Dispatch. Reliably factual. And now all can I say, Bawumia's 160,000 donation to dam victims was personal. Donation to Sierra Leone was from government. Ninyana say, Nani, and Sui etri ye ede efa, nipe wafra yeja, na titru toma muktudu, na ba se vice president, wong nyang kodru ho. Okoye su koduru wonu mu se ni wuku ada no na anu a wose okura eye boamu ade eye Ghana sika no eye empem aha aduosia na eye 160,000 cedis na ode ekoye na we na eye Dafia Mekpo Nelson eye honorable member wono so beka se an na wakwa sika fia we kete aniwa we di abreyen na no Sierra Leone for kra na wo motie ba bi dwene ho no wo mu atorancham to wo mu a na wafa eye million baako America fo sika na wo de kɔ na we ana enchiremu no Benepson and the Daily Dispatch or de ben say eye empem oha aduosia Ghana sika 160,000 no na eye Dr. Muhammad Bawumia ono ani botom ska ana wo de share buo mu a wade ekoye na de wade ko Sierra Leone de na ye omai Ghana ene de share nsem a ye de ebaaye wasi Akonsombo Dam is one of the best managed in the world. Water River Authority Deputy Chief Executive and watch let's say Akonsombo Dam said yesifa etoto no can say one of the best wo ewiase afana nyina Christian Edu Jansen or the FR Facebook Live ede baye or say good afternoon ADAKABRI or say I know you are a very honest man. Kindly ask the president whether he is satisfied with his performance so far, having heightened our expectations over the past period when he was campaigning. Tell him to work hard to redeem his image, because if to award marks to his performance, I will give him about 12.5%. And on Facebook Live, what they buy. Democrat anwa so na yensan enko na Daily Statesman. Osi diabenia crave higher standards ethics. Chief Justice urges lawyers. We and her leadership. Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokonu. But say Fede ya friend lawyer for twembe say apem. Your friend lawyer for twemu say apem. And na Fede de ono oba be kan say neba ena ye ma ono afre neba. Na wo frɛ ne ba no Fede atumi say obam ne ba nu wa fe ne ba no afono ho. Ne ba say de na wo mu so suro ni maami o say de be yo. And say ne ba afede of fam na the certificate ade man ne ba na ani agi. Right, enti yegusu yenhwe Democrat no said the Daily Statesman or the eba no enti or the mfonini fefefe na story say crave for higher standard ethics Chief Justice na or catch a lawyer for na eba na anu na MPP National Council of Elders Advocates Incident Free Primaries na or the of Akwame Kwame Usu Ajiman nimfoni na beto ase MPP mpanimfo no esusu se enka bibia ntimi enye dey enko kama November 4 no Ebrihene calls for privatization of Ebri Gardens. Otobu ajankwasi otoso mienu akuapem adonten na ono osusu se ene Ebri Gardens ya efritete ahwane ekokotena kotete flowers yi yebeya yemfanhye ankwankra bi nsam na womuntimi manage hoyie na odisa ede aba. VRA intensifies relief efforts in flood affected communities. Water River Authority and so mugusua at the normal yede ebeko akwa 1 year from Neja diaye womono na omugusua ye toto or say Tekpe makes no record concession over payment of defective ambulances. eti ɛyɛ defective ambulances yi ho ɛne sɛ yɛde nipa bi akɔgyina court na yɛde ɛyɛ minority leader so ɛde aka ho na sɛdeɛ nneɛma no si kɔ yi na ma speaker of parliament right honorable ASK Babin ɔbɛka ne sɛ ɛsɛ persecution bi ne yɛ persecute minority leader ne nyɛ prosecution bi na yɛ prosecute no owie sɛ nanu yi wakɔ akɔgyina court no wayi ne substantive minister at the time no sɛ tekpɛ ɛna na yɛ finance minister ɛna na ato force ne yɛ deputy ɛne sɛ yɛakyekyere ato force ɛnan amantam no ɛna ato force ɛyi the substantive minister then no danseɛ nti sɛ tekpɛ so kɔkɔgyina adakam okɔgyina adaka no sɛ ane mea na meka sɛ adeɛ no wɔnyɛ na LC no onshu na yebusa sɛ na ho nkrata adanseɛ ɛyɛ trail no ɛna ɔsɛ no de ɛyɛ mfomso bi ɛna ɛbaayɛ a trail no eni hɔ na emum no substantively no me ɛna meka sɛ as the substantive minister meka sɛ ɔnkonkɔyɛ adeɛ no ɛna ɔde kan sɛ no we ne kyerɛ kan sɛ na ayɛ sɛ de ɛyi substantive minister oni hɔ na ne deputy ntimi nkɔgyina parliament this year ma an acting minister from a different ministry ɛna etimi gyina mu de ma no on my Pia Ghanaian Chronicle ɛna ɔno so ɔde aba beto ha sei ɛna ɔde ɛyɛ Owura Vincent Kwadwo Opon Nkrumah MP ɔfo ase ayerebi and also information minister ɔde ne phone ni abeto ha sei na ɔse strengthening the financial sector government announces tighter spending controls said the CDs kan nyafu afe na ehia to yen a yese afi a ye besimu no sika ye ni sika ye ni no yenye na busa se sika mpo ebi mpo wa hine fani aka se ye ni was it VRA donates mobile toilet relief items to flood victims and mobile toilets ahodo na eye VRA for ede akọ ede ekwakoma nipa na wofra na gya nsuo atwi ede afa yeso saa so na wode Alhaji Suleiman Yeremia acting chairman na MPP National Council of Elders eye Kwame Osu Ajiman me wofa oniman mu ene nti Yeremia na egina mu na amewakumfi mu rough eta na kire ose a divided army doesn't win wars. MPP Council of Elders tell aspirants ose ne se yenyina emu checha nya de betimi edi nkunim ewo esabia yebekọ eso Western North Minister showcases massive infrastructural development. Richard Eba Jojo Obeng Western North Regional Minister ena de waye no hono no ogusu a ode che enti eye okoji abo nana prempe ena ode de aka beto ayeso ose Ensuom gets new chief after 20 years eye ene nana Simonsa ono ena Ensuom wakakofro eye nananu modwa wakoso nananu tuom ana Chronicle ede ato hei yenyanti muaye bia yemfa ne saa the find that the Bokrata no fast major krata papa ni your friend saying ne ho ebon wo say cabinet outlaws off book arrears other stringent spending controls Vincent Kwadwo Opon Nkrumah information minister no an asade de phone na beto na cabinet retreat a wo mo kokotena peduase ena ne nyina akọ wie se enei sika ni ho yeni de show botomu na betimi aka se ye wo dia o se John nya me mfa ne krensie o se wujaf de fa show botomu ansa na nya mfa show botomu a enkan sika ho enti enei aye cabinet say sika bia no a ye mu ho nkonta ba bi efrem ye hu se ehye botomu bia no anye de ayenni anunti ena ye de aba was it donation of 2 helicopters meant for re-export breaches customs law GRA anything enei eye Kwame Nkrumah Suapon University of Science and Technology and na wo makofa new course aeronautical course ede aba na enkrofo bi ede eye helicopter mienu bi ede ba wo man mu ase wo ma e tu fango yi na helicopter ne bebeduru ha sei no ɛna wayɛ deɛ bɛnia a spy na spy a ɛwɔ sɛ yɛsan de kɔ America baabi efire no na gye sɛ America foɔ no yɛsan de akɔ akɔma wɔ mo sɛ spy na America foɔ no wɔn nsa kasa ayi helicopters yi bi a na spy no a wɔn hwɛ university a wɔn ne wɔ kama na yɛde akɔ akɔma university foɔ no sɛ monye na momfa nkyerɛ ɛyɛ mmeranteɛ ne mmabaawa na deɛ on aeronautical sciences enti ɛbaa ne na afei de American company no ka kyerɛ Ghana foɔ na de ɛyɛ helicopter de ba sɛ oh na we mu san de aba san de ka foforo to so ti san de aba America monhwɛ sɛ mo se Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology foɔ ɔma yɛ aeronautical science ɛyɛ course bi ne ade dia momfa helicopter no nyɛ den ɛnkɔnkɔ kyɛ wɔ mo na wɔ mo mfa nsuasua ne ehunu sɛ UST ɔmo so ɛwɔ helicopter mienu ɛba ne se ya ho nkrata atwerɛ kɔ yɛ pɛ ɛna sɔfo amishadai wo so amoa Ghana Revenue Authority no se hwɛ mo ka sɛ UST fo nko na mo bɛgye yɛ kra yɛ kɔkɔ yɛ course wɔ mo nyi school fees yɛ bɛgye ho ɛtoɔ yɛ bɛgye ho toɔ if it's a custom duties no ɛwɔ sɛ na we dia dia asɛm we kra dia asɛm bɛni yɛ bɛka GR for say ɔmo miɛmfa plane no mfa ma ɛyɛ UST unless say yɛtua ho toɔ ɛne sɛ nkrofo sɛ de ɔmo dwene ho ɛbɛyɛ ayɛ nsamfa nkɔ America foɔ no hɔ a ne yɛ ho ntɔɛ Ghana de yɛ nyɛ papa wɔ Ghana ha sei na we bɔne bɛ yɛ kɔfa sika wɔ hene fa na yɛ de plane no ayɛ de abetua tax asan de amam ne wi asan de akɔkyɛ UST enti no ɛna ɛyɛ paper natural or see donation of 2 helicopters meant for re-export breaches customs law GRA we na charities kura intimi nya enya Ghana pe na charities yetimi di ade kura bebeche hospital here the charity here dey ba yetimi ejina mu ka say Jesus ma betua ho duty ne afa ade ne akoto agu ba bi ne ye de ko we breast cancer cozy cares medical outreach screens over 600 at Denton area residents ai akosua manu and say they was we be pray at Denton seat no on the ticket of area MPP na akosua manu na eja edin adodo no ade frɛ na wode agidin wa Denton ho no cozy oba fefe and say chese waso no pony and chese wode ne eye ni suit paper bi de ato so and na chese ni photo ne da ho na na obi frɛ me no say afre hu fenku enti beto ama no na se no hu fenti na koto ama no me ne hu ofede do eti cozy enene wa me akwa komiemia ma ne nufu se mama akoma eye ahansia na cozy agosua me no wa akwa yin sei cozy so utimi se eye Mana Valley waji ho nyina boso ono nko ani street na school ma akoma yensa ewo ni street so waji asem bi da Ghana for ne copy obi ye ni school no mu se nkwala ko se school no man asisi a school mienu aba be ka ho eti street ba ko street near 100 just about 1000 meters of the street no eye school ma akoma yensa ene ho na cozy so asate won mu bi and you can imagine say there Dr. also free Akoto and they were hineba or to give me the nod to reform MPP Dr. Akoto and all can say here and I say a man or not na or no so untimi enye eye de benia right enti new crusading guide na no de aba or say voter flooding Ghana Armed Forces denies withdrawing men from Mepe and or de ba yankwe na miami nua Georgia isi ono and the Director of Communications for the National Disaster Management Organization NADMO a free sasemi see George onye na won be ba kokora na yire kura wan kwasra na odwa na George edimu a oye adwuman George me mo ha edoba ni TFM so
ya me Johnson of ADAKABRI
na humpo etesen awie
abo ade abaro ma me hoye
oye na najima prempe ene saji ne NADMO staff munyina mo ho etesen ewo franeja
nyame adom ye nyina ye hoye
na eye NADMO staff fo mo muti ba bia mo ho to mo sene wo mo a adia ye wo mo na na
baba ADAKABRI question we die mu kakra o
asa chese ye pese ehunu se amia no enkrofo di amia o man ma di amia wo franeja no ayete NADMO fo mo ho atom anase sa amia no na mo so madi bie a mo de so mo man Ghana
Oh, yeah, who toy, a staff in any or more, and a coba, and that is it.
A teacher said, Omu yaw ni ahudwan omu komu nyina no, the same yaw ni ahudwan and not most staff, esusu komu.
Yeah, by a penny for the bean so, or more, maybe a hotel and could be or high and cough on the beer.
Oh. Adeɛ. Na say no, sɛdeɛ yɛgye nneɛma ɛde ɛma ɛyɛ nipa a wɔfra n'agya no ɛte sɛn.
So, I about it. I'm crack companies, NGOs, maybe, the home, Bapa. Offer emergency line 112. The penny for no more emergency operation center, ever direct to Adiaba. The penny for to be either me, steady, or other officers. And the area, a record do they are officer near the Woody Abba, District Assembly Office or a area collection point. Into the bar, a media or no more the perfect Nafidia, the Akogu warehouse or a home, near a onward distribution, the Akoma or more here.
Oh, asempa minimum said na watwe mu me amenua Dr. Joseph Sianwa Japan Zoom Lion and Jospon group o ma ye krado papa na watwe mu no ade kase o baba ya ama mo no mo amani be so papa
Omo kro mo di kan ba omo nkofo aba mo ya assessment wura fi pollution se wo nyina omo ya omo aba omo ye ho assessment krado.
Oh, ade chese Sianwa Japan wo se chese metin se wa wura me paper papa ntimi wa reche mu se omo ya assessment ni wi a ye di akire nyina no ebeba abekan yansa. Now, na ama mepe na ye collection point for the relief items.
Oh, the honey the main honey affecting most and two. The honey affecting incident command post and emergency operations center. The honey coordination of all the other affected areas, no EFI. And the Mefe District Assembly, and incident command post, no. Emergency operations center. And known as digitally, they monitor any other way assessment in a center.
Now, so far, not more capacity no to deliver on your mandate no at the same, and now am I overwhelmed?
Oh, there be capacity. There was a lot more. Yeah, coordinating agency. The attorney said, yeah, at the end, more for no. Say, at the end, na agencies are related to disaster management. No, you hear one, you best friend one, so mumbra. You hear fire service or Ghana police for protection, or ambulance service, or Ghana health service. Eba. And see what you hear woman in Ghana Navy, a from in fact, Ghana Air Force, see here helicopter for aerial observation. Director Ghana line no to ma Army Commander Pe heli there me inside 9 for how many release my near the idea was here. And see back human personnel name or my here the Juma and say you're warm on the ground.
Na fe na latter part of last week yeah better say military I withdraw from Mepe na honorable member Nani Abre na actually military so be can say there be yan withdraw from Mepe but as a assessment no na was yetimi edi normally be esu free Mepe edi ko bato. What is all that about withdrawal and non-withdrawal?
Oh, and yes, Obia, oh, yeah, Jumana, maybe a honorable member of parliament. So I hear Jumapa, Augustua, or form or Boa, Yenny Sodi or yeah. But the baby, our own DG, so be crown and Amano, hint, yeah, our own DG authority, the actual position. This is now affected of ADAKABRI, about 9 of them directly. And the severely hit about 5 to 6. And see, Sabi, my friend, the hardest hit and also for Navy for BR. So move work but move work other places are a part of the work. See, I was here answer because my bet now, maybe I will cross Sophie, my friend Krumel cost Esquisito. Maybe I want the largest number of evacuees or no. My Juma then comfort child is almost move well, it be almost command structure and see whatever it is. But yeah, military, the release but there's no going to start move behind the
Na National Disaster Management Organization as a coordinating entity said the Woody can eka say Ghana Armed Forces deploy Water River Authority deploy engineers. Do they come through your command and control so that mube hunu said the adwumane airco and now said all kind of says here Ghana Armed Forces will structure into pebia outside of the mandate of NADMO Anna.
Debbie. NADMO is the lead agency, the coordinating aid, and the will be our commander. But it's an emergency operations center. All the heads of the teams now involved in the disaster management, will be our honor. And the honor decisions are taken. And that is it. The army will lead the member from the Ghana Army, or in the command center hobby. But there's either an NADMO person or an army officer or an ambulance person based on the agreement can be made to lead at any time key. Though NADMO is the overall, but depending on situation, a bit Mark says, okay, army commander or lead way, should be the leader for any issue at any time key. That is it. Not just a command center honor. That is where the decisions are taken.
Engineers from the Ghana, engineers from the Water River Authority, almost a brief as to whether the water is receding and now say it is still rising.
Yes, you know, I'm say my back crowd is here about 3 o'clock. I'm here for every press conference. And yes, a member of the 3 o'clock. We are a press conference or headquarters. So that we see they will brief the nation about everything. We are working in tandem. Emergency preparedness plan. You know, go through process. Simulation. Every baby
now no VR no or no and we can only comment one of the deputy chief executive is it engineer Kanzo why are there going around and giving
engineer Benaka so
Benaka and the Minyante and okay. Okay, now one would have thought to say, I don't know, Munko and your press conference, in brief for mine, not practically, you know, the air cost, what think air condition way more. Woman, sorry, she engineer Fonta, the Uncle and Suonum, and who said the 86-year-old mammy, Ophelia, now bet now a year electrovoter house. Na your friend is saying, what about your press conference in the Ababe? I'm consume and conquer and who said,
no one who's your no, Kanzo, Penipa, from my consumer. Oh, my idea. And in a Kwame, only in a Kosia Roda, only in a account, and the man on the ground. And see, press conference, the office on the FM head office there. And the Abaho, you pay almost a question what they tankers they go all the way to Dawa, about 30 to 40 kilometers away, you know. Womaba, Abeyama, Abeime, Yan Sionufi, water treatment, you know, my anti tankers, you know, the some of the Sionufi Abeime, closer plane to Bato, to Mepe, and to Adidome and others. So far, almost one way to my para.
Now, oh my yard, dear. Na engineers from the built environment, Ghana Institution of Engineers, or a specialist in the built environment for no, almost also UST for no, almost me about Babua.
Oh, Kofoti about Beminia direct with KNUST for Abidu, an institution of engineers officially. but definitely almost in the rehabilitation angle. You know, all the interministerial committee almost focus on safety, relief, and rehabilitation. In the rehabilitation angle, yes, almost there is actually there is also testing the structural integrity. So because so after so long, I say integrity now compromise now was pull down. Woman and everybody assessment.
I don't know make us built environment for no. Na akwakwa say US for no more that specialist. Minim say na retire Professor William Oduro. So no. Omo na eye omo dwuma se ba bia yakeka for so yetete no. That built environment for no and experience. One would have thought say they would come in to also assist the Water River Authority and then also the Ghana Forces, the 48th Regiment. Na face no naval command and also detachment aba na fe mo nad mo force mo to honum na yentimi treaty adema obia hunu say Ghana is deploring its best to resolve this issue ebisusu say we could have avoided it.
Oh, remember 48 to hot that the other affiliate bodies no via for now so more engineers honum not most technical experts but KNUST professionals so barmaids and I make I say there be a bit here warm pan you do they'll be roped in.
Right. It is 3 p.m. and a press conference. So now do we know the object of the press conference?
It's got to do with maybe but it's about the happening and other related matters.
Okay. And to move here, when your opportunity, I catch the warm say we would require 24-hour briefing so that every single day we know exactly what the situation is, the status. Now you know so no yahundi yeso empire bona yebetimi abo empire so ane de empire bota actually. Now obi person dey no ma bi ba kwan be no betimi afa so a obetimi adonate bibi.
Well, in America, no, over 112 emergency line, no, over not more emergency crisis center. And to move amount numbers be over na ya direct to about battle honor. Na what presidency win. Over so your headquarters were not more hands up. Make me a near move, incorporate move with your brand. Yeah,
yeah, can
I am about ADAKABRI. Say I'm specific. Ne crew for ne amansie for ade na ka wo mo ntim pese kwa amansie ana se atimpoku for nti en kwa atimpoku open sanso a wo kan oba na mpedifo di hu kita hu wia ye be ma team o do be for na akoye sa donation no.
So as a first step no se mo ye eye sorry mo ye corporate organization individual bi kura na mo say mo pese mo donate ya you first that 112 from all networks and
yes, from all networks. The emergency line. That's by you street. Then mobile numbers be a bit my number, a bit my Deputy Director General will be now pay Munakasa.
Oh, until no say 112 no. Now you redirect to a secure source. You can then discuss where now your modalities, and your dates. I was be our beba. Now what me actually what you are bringing any
yeah they redirect to all numbers now the processes and you all number be a director of communications number one no kasa and as a deputy director general technical one no kasa and as a team and kasa director general one no kasa
but enye bibia tedious bia na ayese me pese me donations na me sabre.
Oh, there be offer, there be. Was a cry about ambulance convoy and this ambulance dispatch riders not
oh, okay. And that mo mandate pa anything.
Oh, say Atoyanchem Abrim Abuafo. Ye dear na what ye say Atoyanchem su ebeya na esikra the pre-disaster stage. And no matter what, a month of what dream back. Atoyanchem who do a bit me affect him a natural and mammy. Atoyanchem Susia, a quite a fox wet me a boa or more Mohua we and here. Nina, and also said ye are post disaster stage, and she said, no matter what ye na wɔn a wɔn kɔ ahoyɛhia mu no wɔn adi yie ɛno nso yɛ disaster management organization.
Maya dear pa. The Ghana police time a Castro free mono yet marine department marine department of the Ghana police a marine unit from so hobby on.
But I say Navy for no pan play the lead role.
I am say Ghana police marine unit for no so because
okay.
It is 3 p.m. thereabout. So be a press conference new year. We may find out more from you as to what I unveiled, what was unveiled at the press conference. Why?
Okay, Opa.
You Nyamin Kang. Right. And George, you see, Director Communications of the National Disaster and Management Organization, and the Water River Authority at me Askadel press conference at 3 p.m. today. I just will be brief on the Akoso. Na Yegusua Yetutu. On Facebook Live, Betrani Ajay Kraku or say AK Papa J. Greetings from Tema Newtown. We are very well connected to the signal and strongly behind Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Or say Shama Ba Edna Benya. Or say MPP Chaka Chaka. Scatter Ghanaian sofa. MPP never again. 2024 poser. AG Alexander Anna Onososodiba Wafa. Please, what is this acting MPP national chairman is talking about? If they aren't bold to tell some regional chairman to stop fooling, then division will still continue. On my kwekwe no can, no vote. Frimpong Manso, NDC, close your mouth and stop propaganda 2024. Baroski assist what this internal election, so let's minimize the tension and heat. Regards to Old Tafu MP Vincent Eko Asifwa, Christian Dujansen, ADAKABRI, where is Abdul Kwekubako? Ask him whether he stopped talking. Whatever a mystery. Go Suzongo, patriotic voices. Or say the MPP party doesn't need just a flag bearer, but someone who can lead a party to break the eight. Oyibo Boateng from Achumanebehi in Kumasi. Dr. Bawumia all the way. Dr. Bawumia nie, MPP nie, Frimpong Manso, Pasaka Nibium, Dr. Bawumia all the way. AJ David, Master, good afternoon. Please ask the MP for Swijaman what he's doing about his people because his area is affected. Remember, he's an NDC MP too. And Otris Nana Kwesi Apia Sechi. Good morning, Professor ADAKABRI and team. Watching you live from New York City, USA. Wishing everyone an informative and educative program. God bless USA, Latte Equiapim, and Ghana. Abdul Karim, political speaker. When Chizongu, watching you live, the signal is strong across the country. Nana Equiamwa Boateng on Facebook Live or say, Dr. Bawumia is coming. And a special birthday to Lieutenant Robert Kweku Apia of 1st Infantry Battalion, Michelle Camp. May God bless your new age. Cheers. Anna Ode Ebaye. Wahine Archiboy. Wafa, keep on the good works. Wafa, trust me, Ken will win the coming November 4. Watching you live from the Royal National Orthopedic Hospital, Stanmore, in the UK. Mawulawe Sejiafa, Ken will shock everybody by winning. Keep listening to NEAT 100.9 FM. Yanko na yane maintenance engineer Isaka Amonkote intimi entwetwe enkomo ekakra na yenhwe say in the environment nsuo na twa paso no what can we salvage and what we idea na yen aim at. Isaka Amonkote, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, lawyer.
Enumu tetan
ba about that e no kemi ye no chimi intaje no.
Oh, shida ha you ake o he job fi o. Right. Sesi ensuo na atwi ede afa yeso yi. na ye built environment ateche kura ba ye ho ento yen let alone say ensuo na anonom ejina hoi erosion ba ye ho nto yen let alone say ensuo na anonom gina hoi ene yesi na ye ma cement nkom let alone say ensuo na atot anonom yensa ase ne yadan esisi wonum. What can we tell utwam for ni kire yen a asase a yesisi yadan yesisu in the 9 districts across the water region, any especially the 6 now. You say a hona ayadinepano. What could we imagine?
Well, you know, say ensure tene tene not say who impeding in any form ever find this space. And
I just say baby Susan say befa no. We are dan hwa na Susan befa.
Exactly. Now who impeding in any form and then they ever finding the way up a baby and obefa and who beton. Aha. One say originally water it's a river. And we decided to put hydraulic structure in the middle. And now say in Akosumo area for our own purpose. Your purpose is to generate electricity. And the hydraulic structure na ya there to hono. Ya kire and say insuoni drum pempe insuo bia we have to spill it. And tina you 6 gate for the spillage and then 6 for generation of the power. And the the inflow of water as against the hydraulic structure nesi wono. No make your calculation and say, we might find ourselves in a very huge trouble. Sustaining the hydraulic structure, which it is called a dam in another technical but in operations, you must always think about the worst case scenario. In the event of we opening, what will happen? And I don't know whether that was done. Surely it will obey, but they don't have full control over after the opening of the gate. Yes, I'm back. Your Water Resources Commission. Our material ensure that Ghana more literature on water awareness, how to save water and all that. But who is in charge of the physical management of the water bodies? You can't tell me say a district assemblies Ajuma. Because even Assassino Sokrano, their budget cannot manage it. Now the issue Takaka way so Ebeka. Minka voter base in Impu. I'm talking about the other rivers like Pra, Birim, all the other Densu and all that. Who is in charge of the physical development of the water bodies now? Who goes to measure the water flow periodically to determine whether it is coming up? I bet me a creative problem. And I say a free flow of water. Who is impeding it at any given time? Which body is in charge of that? Anybody be in charge. Now you are getting here and say, Esan say, in 5 district assembly, district assemblies, BB Wahum, and on a koye Nyameboa BB, which is not because you should have a documentation. And yes, Obi Auko pick a sample of the water. I could share the turbidity of the water. No, I can say, oh, Galamsey for Seno. No, that is not what I'm driving at. I'm driving at who is checking whether we are impeding the water flow or we
I just said, no, you are looking at Senkibenya a concrete plan via you go according to the plan and
where your department or agency be na no. Now, until Act 522 was set up to create the Water Services Commission, and saying, sanitation ministry, so could dredge calling, and me share who say either you know because then we should have a full report on all the water bodies we have in the country. Near who say whether Nina Amanso no ebetime flow akobebi asese because radio nechi when die gugu. So who is in charge? Enya free flow and kobebi asese. Now let's come back to the water basin. Yes, the water basin. From after the spillage, then we are heading towards a Sojamine district. Now, Afa Adome, then we are hitting Mepe, Tong, 3 district near Fatwa. Now, have we checked whether economic activities are impeding free flow of water now? Because originally, dam was spilling so every day in the course of production of electricity, through the 6 turbines, I know they came there, from there. Now we are looking at for a huge volume of water to channel through it, and in Ibiano, do we have a free flow?
Volta River Authority say almost press conference every 3 p.m. Now, what expectation is saying?
Well, they say the havoc has been caused already. My expectation is I think they should tell us whether they are going to close or they have closed the spillage gateway, because Abiana inflows, apart from they can manage it. Because mind you, they also need the water. That is why they have built the hydraulic structure with the reservoir on it to keep the water there while they use it to continuously generate the water. And to they say now they can use it to continuously generate the power. But baby econo, I say one boom come the whole dam now pay a coffers and fufraba. Until they have to allow it to flow. Almost steady the inflow, and Kosu Bibiano, we na into Yabatum, never necessary what
near 2 months or so, in Suez, a between connect aftermath, dear Nebeka.
Thanks, there. Now we have about 10% evaporating.
10% of
that. The canon so I find in the way a bit to be from and the canon I find in the way I could be best. Now shall build up now walk so got copy a bridge in each year because answer as the bridge as I so. I don't know whether your bridge in say something is impeding the free flow. I don't know. After that, Midano na minya information say they attempted dredging the basin and Kofobi and almost dredging court said they are going to tamper with the ecosystem, and I don't know whether VRA or whoever wanted to do the dredging when Timia argue in the case here were caught and Sogakope court injuncted them. So they have not been able to dredge the basins. And the dredging basin, now economic activities are impeding the free flow. then we are going to have what the situation that we find ourselves in.
If you say, oh, share, yes, I base in Hormodia, if it Rollins pencil crana, now was it by water? And so now there was this British company,
Exactly.
by water. That's at
Yeah.
a year, the late Steve Mawenyaga, and a name said, I know you're more rep, our Ghana has it.
Yes.
And now almost person soon be cross several a year, the Anglon area in
Yes.
Togo.
Yes.
And to say the end of that, as a home man, so in the down.
I wonder if that is it, because when I'm a kind, just dredging, and I conform on court and say they are going to tamper with the ecosystem, and they don't want them to do it. I don't know the type of the equipment they were going to use in dredging. Maybe futu and tamper with fishing activities, and I don't know whether whoever was to do it, want me and defending in case,
okay, now what we move and yes, better say Zoom Lion, almost so be almost so donation, and Zoom Lion so no, just one group, no war interest, our dredge masters, into dredge masters, who so many sick a year or do you say, into with the two machines. A be a name, a be a the dredge master so be now as because John Dramani Mahama so and maintaining say it me a manso no train at the lower basin no and so to do no bit me abesna ko nanka anye stagnant and me and disrupt activities especially in the town areas.
Well, me who activity be me who video be now say the military had wanted to go up, downstream at the estuary. Now, and I think the people didn't like it. I don't know why they want to do it from that angle, because between Sugakope and Adano, they should be able to do it from there. But
Sugakope to Adano, we are looking at a little over 80 kilometers. 80 kilometers of the river bed, 80 kilometers. Say, one would say, I don't know what I'm over Shasia Babe, no. Namon Shasia on the emperors of Sugakope and Tefle, Namonfa and Mafum.
Yeah, that is if you also have the technical eye, because you can't just interrupt state officials when they want to perform their functions. But anyway, people must.
And the key word is you cannot obstruct them in the lawful discharge of the duties.
Yes. You cannot. Unless you go through a court system and all that. But what I'm driving at is if technical people have sat down, I'll listen to the town folks, and then we agree, say, this should be done, because probably what the Okoye don't know, almost will be that. Idea the Okoye will return and then come and collapse their towns and all that. And we have to discuss. But at this stage, and conform who baby and if they are within this area now, we are in some kind of a mess as we speak now. Because in short time, here for 2 weeks, I really don't know what's going to happen there. And a Janabi at this stage, Nina Danny Bibia so we have to be careful in managing this. That's why the public health people also but if I wake it to away him, say now you see Kasem Aquatino. Nadmu, not only Miminia, I see Kasa. Now, just they are now coordinators of emergency or whatever. That is not the mandate. Those officers are the mandate, because they should have their own budget. You can't tell me that you are now coordinating and rolling in all officers. So you have brought in the soldier. Okay, the soldier, but now Obe allow you to be the head of coordination. No, it will not happen. They will take over. And you work at our funds now, resources are, would they say, management in terms of Nadmu, or boat, or more resources, in terms of down, or more near my situations, no more dear with him.
It is here, no. We a Water River Authority, Kasa, yes, petition is saying.
Yes, petition is say, you know, ya share, ya observe no for some time, and having and ya tum. Na afi ye hu say eno ano no. And yes, answer I make so mu bie no about 80%. At a point no hit 100, but ya tum the about 40%. Or ya tum kra, they should tell us something because we can't continue having this swimming pool somewhere over there. It's a serious matter because some towns are on Adani Islands as we speak, and people must, survive. And Mimpire say, and next 3 o'clock, on my information say, the dam it will be safe. Say a 2-1 and yatum.
Right. Ade na yamfansia na yenyina na yentwen just about 30 minutes to go. Na yenti the Water River Authority on Babeka kire.
Amen.
Amen. Right. Isaka Amankote, maintenance engineer. And yenna di nkomo at 3 p.m. we are led to believe say the Water River Authority would be holding a press conference at the Electro Water House. Na status of what the situation is on the ground no. Omatimi at the Abrain. The Gusuneti need 100.9 FM. Na yenye bre na yenyina no yenhwe sede ensem ACFR at the aircraft. Still to come, another interview on say government is saying government outlaws off book arrears, other stringent spending controls. Government is saying we won't spend what we don't have, and also so or the eba na yahwe in the Ghanaian Times, and then also so no what is graphic telling us? And the interview no said the Ebisiaba or say at cabinet retreat, government will spend within means next year upon Kroma. Nezizia Busa I want say yes to me enko jibusia in the international market. Now IMF for support you with the balance of payment system ayakwa IMF or my tranches of CK. We are asking to say dear pana you pay capital investment a bit me aye. Right, Professor Godfred Bokpin and he's a professor of finance and economics and economist at the University of Ghana. Now, Prof, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Prof, now who at saying?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm not so
so when be any except wondering what is happening to us at the lower water basin. Now, Prof, do we have any money to undertake any capital investments in that area after the water recedes?
No, we don't.
Hey, Yeniska.
We don't. But if government wants to find the money, they will find the money. You cannot say you can't find the money. Life is at stake.
Okay,
cannot say they cannot find the money because what is happening there is a disaster.
Okay, my nani has a explanation and the man has a year. We are led to believe we say I am a for almost say your friends say yentimi international markets and konkojibu see BABM. Now almost my balance of your friends saying on my support in balance of payments, right?
Yes.
Na after so yamfa ratio from 105 to 55, if I'm right. Na yentimi downgrade no. Na ni nyina mu no si yentimi konkojibu sia. Ni enso no receivables at the internal revenue side and so work for me, Can we make any capital investment in the coming year until say IMF project beko the year na?
The OSHA, the IMF program now, there is allocation for capital expenditure. From now to 2026, we have allocation. if you check the 2023 budget, there is allocation for CAPEX. The question is, it's not sufficient. It's not like there isn't any allocation at all. So there is some allocation for CAPEX. There will be some allocation for CAPEX next year, 2025 and beyond. It will not be sufficient. Also, if the country deems it appropriate that the future lies in growth enhancement spending, in addition to the IMF supported program, the country will take steps to cut down on some wasteful expenditure. So as to accumulate money for CAPEX. That is a choice for the country to make. You cannot have this under the program. You cannot have sufficient CAPEX under this cost structure. So it's up to Ghana to decide the level of CAPEX versus current expenditure that would inure to the benefit of the common good. It's up to us to decide. So it's about the balance, the reallocation you want to do, so that you want to put your money where you believe you can generate the maximum social and economic returns. So that is up to the country. We cannot and we should not outsource the future of this country solely to the IMF supported program. It's not enough. The IMF itself has admitted that their program is not all solution to Ghana's problems. And our president, I think during his the State of the Nation, last speech of fellow Ghanaians or so, said that the IMF program is not a panacea to all our problems. So what that tells you is that it's not lost on government itself that they are solely abiding by the tenets of the IMF program cannot deliver sustainable and inclusive economic growth and development. It cannot. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, now that the IMF program is enforced, what is it that we are doing from governance reforms, expenditure reforms, to complement whatever reforms and gains that are in the IMF supported program? That choice is ours.
That choice is ours. And August 26, 2023, I'm a president of the Republic in response to a question. I can say, one of the is the first to admit there are challenges, and that the next MPP leader will come and resolve our challenges. Now, Open, what you're saying?
He has considered defeat before halftime. It looks to me the president is overwhelmed. And it happens to leaders. Sometimes when you fail to act and to act proactively, you tend to be overwhelmed by the enormity, because then everything comes at you quite quickly. And sometimes you don't even know where to start from and where it will end. In that circumstances, it may require the president have a retreat, relax, listen to alternative views. You may want to go beyond your inner circle. Okay? Listen to alternative views. Build consensus. Bury your pride. Put the common good ahead. And say, let's come together. We are in crisis. How do we do it? Sometimes it may amaze you that the solution may not be with the economic management team. It may just be from outside. It reminds me of a certain story. In fact, I hope I can share it.
But please share it.
We read in the Bible of where some people followed Jesus Christ for 3 days without eating, and they were hungry. And I'm sure Jesus would have thrown it to his management team, the 12 disciples, his board sides. What shall we do for these people? And maybe their response would have been, sack them. Where are we going to get food for all these people? But Christ said, it doesn't work that way. But the solution for that day, the Bible says that it was with a certain lad, probably less than 18 years, who was carrying 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. So you see, the solution for that day wasn't with his inner 12. It wasn't with the inner 3. Not at all. It was with a lad who was carrying 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish. And that was how Christ fed 5,000 men. Women and children were not counted. And they took extra leftovers, about 12 baskets. So sometimes the best idea may not be in the head of the head. That's why inclusivity is very important. That's why when you are building a nation, you build with people who think like you think exactly. But you also build with people who think differently. You need both. When you get to crisis moment, you need both. And that is why consensus building, a national stakeholder engagement that objectively discusses our problems and comes back to solution. In fact, you'll be amazed that by the time we are done, we would have made progress in bearing our political differences so that we can elevate the common good, because that's what is needed. I'm just thinking that in the next 1.5 years that the president has or so, he would take certain steps such that he will be remembered for what he left behind. Yeah. Time is on his side.
Yeah, Professor Godfred Bopin, Professor of Finance and then Economics, ADD in Komokakra, Efa Yensemi. Prof, what can be say reforms in governance, reforms in financial management, and also talked about complementing the efforts of the IMF now. And now the Ababi, we say we could do something like a national stakeholders conference. Sadly, we say, if we say, government or political will say obetumi ayesa giving and some of your kafa senchi when MPP was out of power.
Yes, and on sometimes I say they are pride near the other, but the president had already taken the first important step, of putting the common good ahead of his pride when he made a call to the IMF on the 1st of July 2022. We celebrated him for that. Do you know why? Mm-hmm. Because this same MPP said he won't go to the IMF. If you remember, the Minister of Finance said whatever we do, we will not go to the IMF.
In fact, to add to what you are saying, what happens in the corridors of power, to the extent say the finance minister and his like-minded team were adamant to see a beko IMF into at all cost and then we are learning say it was the former trade minister who convinced the president, a catcher president, said, Mr. President, IMF it was at that time now a year president the former trade minister Lancheramateno as opposed to the Kenufuriata and the or Nuankasa fa telephone or the Fred IMF. And who is that Kenufuriata? As a president, no crano, didn't say, Ubeti me are raining in.
Okay, well, me, I don't know the details of that one. So, as to who prompted the president or whatever, and pass a comment on that one. But let me give you historical context. Mm-hmm. Okay. What we saw under our current president with his finance minister, and in 2014, time I was in Dubai, I think 3 months into the implementation of the extensive fiscal consolidation measures, what we call the homegrown fiscal consolidation measures, the president had determined to reach out to the IMF. His finance team equally didn't want to go to the IMF. Under President Mahama.
The same thing, now, as a John Mahama. On this set, Udru baby and set on one side, now the whole cabinet is also on one side.
Yeah, so the president made the call at that time also. And American said, when you lay down a do baby, you take that responsibility. And American said, when the president made the call, we celebrated him. We felt that it was a difficult decision. There were opposing views within the MDP, within cabinet. Okay? But the president took that decision because you have to put the common interest ahead of party interest and personal interest. Mm-hmm. And that is what leadership is all about also. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we've gone past that level. Having made that decision, it should not be so difficult to go the next step of doing what is necessary. And I can tell you, The Ghanaians will say, oh, when else you say, but you come to their level. Everybody come on board. But God himself, doesn't he say, come, let us reason together?
Aye, that is quite biblical. Now, me and then your road networking na etutuo na unsheda notice.
Master, I said that also probably Ghana only. Say, the road stock on paper is worth billions of dollars. So you can say the road stock on paper, acquire on paper from budget to budget. Who cost here billions of dollars? Who go out there acquiring corruption? 10% keep back, keep front, keep side, keep this way. So what goes on the ground is so small. Meanwhile, what is on paper as road construction is so huge.
It makes a Professor Stephen Ade is not wrong after all.
Yeah, yes, say your mind. Across the board. Ghana, you decided say, or money, you best say, and it didn't start today. What will happen to Galamsey? You did be got to send me a Jan, but if you say, a Jan best pay.
Attorney General said there's no evidence to suggest that Galamsey be because.
Maybe yellow. If the evidence there, I mean, whether it is counted or it is weighed. I know when I see GDP, I can see it. I can identify with it. But 2 weeks ago, I went to Western region. Then I saw River Pride. I practically stepped on top of that bridge.
Oh.
I wanted to go and fetch some of the water. I don't know whether that would do as an evidence. But any Ghanaian created in the image and likeness of God, if we will see this and we need any further evidence, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Now, who economists now, what is it as a massive power? Who can a despondency actually? I answer you any day.
Oh, so we are a bit concerned, but let's keep hope alive. Even when confidence is wounded, faith is pierced, trust is impaired. As they say, let's keep hope alive.
Let's keep hope alive. Now, Professor Stephen Ade was weighing in and they appear to be suggesting to us who should lead us into the next government. God forbid. Now, or the other now cannot do Okasasa. And
there's a story in the Bible. I don't know why today is like this. The book of John, chapter 9. Now, there was a certain blind man who had been healed. His eyes were open. And the Jews wanted to eat him. So, and I don't know, it's just that they didn't want to even acknowledge that Jesus did that miracle. It moved the son, and I'm going to the parents. Say, Opawe, Devin is here, I said, you want here. Now the parents are almost some back open. You know their response. They go and ask him, he's of age.
Go and ask him, he's of age. Just before you go, Professor, I'm working quite interesting speaking to you. An economist who is Vincent Kojo Oponkroma, MP of Wansia Yerebi and Minister for Information, is quoted in today's edition of Daily Graphic. I say, at the cabinet retreat, government will spend within means next year. Do we have anything to spend, and of which we will say we will spend within our means next year?
Mother, government is so powerful. If government wants to find the money, or if they want to spend, they will and they can.
When the will is there, they will find the money.
They will find the money. In other words, they will even spend even when the money is not there. They will spend. We've seen it. We've seen fiscal deficit on commitment basis, on cash basis, and arrears, what we call arrears. Only understand. Yeah. But when Yatia grow, only understand.
Yatia bre.
Yatia bre.
Brofu Emintiasia, today's edition of a Finder. The same Vincent Kojo Oponkroma, MP, Minister for Information, is quoted as saying, Cabinet outlaws off-book arrears, orders stringent spending controls. As you understand.
Okay, so near car earlier, no, also normally no. Say they do election time around, especially the last 4 months of the election time. You will see ministries, departments, agencies, state-owned the quasi government institutions, all committing to expenditure. Some may come in the form of awarding contracts, all kinds of things, just to win over the electorate. Many of those things wouldn't have even gone through that process. Anything say after election, Obi say a binding of the PCBI, especially if there's a change in government. But we didn't know about this contract. It was not approved. If you remember, when the MPP took over from NDC in 2017, there was this allegation that there was about 70 billion of expenditure which were not captured in the giftment. We call it off balance sheet expenditures. Now they are the meeting.
Hey, as some day at TBO.
OSHA IMF program one of the reforms IMF headed to her, which government said they had met. Of course, we agree with them. The end date was June, was to comprehensively come out with a plan and update and take stock of all government areas, including ministry areas of ministry, department, agencies. So we want to adopt a general accounting approach to accounting for government indebtedness rather than the former central government and off-balance sheet arrears accumulation and all of which distort the public debt outlook, actually. Okay.
It was finally.
We cannot touch and pay over this. In fact, in 2008, government said they will spend within their means, even though it was an election year. They didn't keep to it. 2012, it was an exceptional year. The excesses, it took Ghana more than 6 years to recover from it. You go and check the data, 2012. And all of that happened actually in the last 4 months of 2012, after President Mayo died.
If I recall right, as Professor Mills, and I'm saying, Dr. Kwabinado for between September to January, no, now fiscal deficit, no, I move from 5 to 12 as a saying.
Because the risk was very high for the party at that time. Because one party had been campaigning all along, and then July or so, the president died, and NDC had to choose a new flag bearer. He had just like 4 months on Hamilton. So ministry, department, agencies, they were all spending.
Left, right, and center.
Yeah. It was those spending excesses that Ghana never recovered from. And it took us to the 16th IMF program. So the 16th IMF program from April 10, 2015 to April 2019, we spoke about the two deficits, fiscal deficit and current account deficit that took us to that IMF program. Then we said 2016, we will spend within our means. We couldn't keep to that. Then 2020, we said we'll spend within our means. We didn't keep to that. And we overspent and blame it on COVID in 2020. This was what Ghana did.
Hey, na mom na economics for no finance for no. Mutiti university one more. Ya na mo excluded from the governance of the country na mutimema politicians no. Ya ade amuhunu sa ade ne nye. Esna mutito din na omoye.
Oh, Ghana had when we need lesson, when we need knowledge, when we need knowledge, when we need Ethiopia.
Hey, finally.
Among the two main political parties, it's evident.
Until I know Kamidibus and Amidibus say there's this new narrative. Say Yabre Nanya political party, either of MPP and as NDC, and elevate the hardship of the Ghanaian. But then we need a leader in the mode of the George Washingtons, Abraham Lincolns, Lee Kuan Yew's, Dan Xiaoping's, Muhammad Matthias, the Indira Gandhis to actually bring a visionary leader. Na watimi yi Ghana de free or how ye womi mu na ye nyina no party government of national unity. Do you believe in such narrative now, Ebe?
So what we have right now is democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Our concentration should be, how do we make it work?
Mm-hmm.
And can we make it work?
Mm-hmm.
I believe we can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
The alternative, sometimes you want to be very careful because you haven't had the chance of testing it.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it possible that we can get a visionary leader, selfless,
mm-hmm.
under our democratic dispensation,
mm-hmm.
who will put the common good ahead of self and party
mm-hmm.
interest? Maybe it's possible.
Mm-hmm. So what can be? Because NDC at 16 years, MPP at 16 years, yeah, 2 separate leaders under MPP at 16 years, 3 separate leaders under NDC at 16 years, and they are not the same government. As no way.
Yeah.
In the dark be me anya baako bi a common interest no ebe hia no sene.
To do well no for that reason, we come home. Ghana, we are polarized. Okay, media skip now. There are those that are pro this and those that are pro this. So what you see happening in that new society in governance is a true reflection of what happens in the larger society down there. Somebody has said that if all of us were chiefs and we have to elect a leader, we will elect a chief.
Obviously.
Okay. So these people came from us. They were one of us. So actually what they are exhibiting, any of us is capable of doing same. Any of us is capable of doing same. There is a saying that once you advise the cat, you also have to advise the thinking fish. We all have the role to play. We all that mindset, that change must begin with all of us. Because the majority cannot sit back and say that just those supposed to say. But of course, leadership matters. Yeah, and that's why we say that fish rot from the head. Leadership matters.
But at least they are also professionals, academics, no. Yeah, na periodic write up. Now, so because we be say go for bopins the way I walk kasa any tia mate was a no. And ka periodic write up be kura journal be kura nanka Ghanaian journalist who create suya and give it to me the relevant and timely questions.
Okay,
I'm on true at and I did you know you yet there was quite an interesting encounter with you this afternoon, Prof.
Yeah, sure.
Professor Godfrey Bokwin and Yatin Kano. I said the ABS. You said the man will be siakwe. Na ebi and there be a bitterness, and there be a bitterness, and there be a anger, and there be an am satisfied. Na wami we obaswami. Hey sir, and there ye can say party penny for monka honshe. Me can be and casam de abo yesura yabodi. It means so me so mean cansem be a mimo be ye hunu nipa American atem. Nina kuku wie say party elders. Almost say National Council of Elders Advocates Incident Pre-Primaries. And so no Jeremiah, a divided army doesn't win wars. MPP Council of Elders tells aspirants. Joe Donko, Ewa Hase, na Ujinamuma Tim Ken, na Ubeka Kakan, my friend George, Quatin so, na, and she says, I could only at the anymore. I don't know from Susunipa. Miami wafa, we are my friend, Mamma. Na, many me wafa, Babets, na Hase, na Usofia Koto, TBB, our can Hase, quite interesting. Or say, give me the nod to reform MPP. So, you're very, you're a senior member of the MPP. Now, I can say, young man opportunity now on reform MPP. Now, I'll persuade you the saying. Osofia Koto say yaman opportunity na on reform party no Osofia Koto so no oni Nana Dankwa Akufo na adi agrofit nkwalabre mu a o omo ye namfofo pa o Akufo ade beje ba bia nyina asante Osofia Koto ne di animu wurawura epe bosia yemfanko yese na se ne o say yaman akwanya na on reform MPP a you don't go Osofia Koto no person wa kire say
yedi kan me champion party mpanifo ne kan ni team members na so na me che wa so me ba no one da sentiment me nchia ADAKABRI
da be so ya no Fred George kwati oni e be ka say
I didn't say
ma ken kwa ko ne kasa
da bi da me mpo say me MPP yi na kasa me MPP kasa me team so but ya pese hu ni say 7 nya ya ni afri kakre me de bia me kan December 65 years nti me started politics na bi sha na me de be do sa time ube hu say na MPP ni ewo mi sesie no MPP ewo sesie no ehia reform nti say ye nua panyin na say yankre ye papa Akoto say okasa asem na Osofia Akoto okasa asem na che say odika because ni ewo mi sesie party no ehia reform ni ewo mi sesie sesie ni party na MPP na ewo dada na ye ni o
sa
se de bia na me kacho say MPP ye party bia na ke ye do ye ho me kai set up mbeye constituency chairman kra no ena se woko meeting na se sabe wo mo bi atam na yedi 10,000 na which is net 10 cedis wo mo bi 10,000 fanfa ka akoro bi so na the man ayede because ye ba e di onuado sachet water siwo ni na no mbi ni adwunwe ne ye ho ne ye ko obi a bi kaka wori so to bi to fanta create money anom ne ye ko ise se obi a ho to no so ene wo fro bi meeting kra na so ameniska obi do atemi sa ba ka se na ma badwunu wo abusua kona abusua ho on enye se badwunu MPP party no because of edidigenti eni asisie na identity party no dey here reform pa say na ekoso se yansesa your attitude ni anyo obi obedi anim aye party ni ya emiri bi beba obi abekọ abonti akopa adwuma ebruchi na obekọ na okopa adwuma so opese oje position of party mu nkoten dia ese okopa skaba
because na utie Sompa FM video ya omode atomoche baby ani MP oso no dollars pa no apede aguo
asebile ko
ompese inflation be chini cedis no into when assessors can call dollars into unia ma 10,000 obedobro no uma 20,000 obedobro no it na semu nyina ne se won de wa peska aguo a ode koto delegates
enti se won omo wo ho na omo de omo ku omo hi adwuma police station full constituency executive and regional executive all pro omo ye adwuma no say omo ye party adwuma party na agina no onu say person ogina position bia na adaroma most of since 2017 most of your DCs and MCs na no constituency executives inti sa time no say see vote na de year and constituency executive no onu oye no ho ye adwuma party na papa nkoko pese ska no inti say sa na be no do bia beja party so ko adwuma na all they have propose na just a won propose na yesa na yegum na ye adwuma na de na just ye jinjimi iti o kaso here reformer party here reform say you form no on reform party na
because o nyina so sikasem ya ekoso say keno hine Japan okukoduru esrem sagnirigu na all kanasem say ade super delegates no chairman fo ebi agigiska kese ani ade then chairman etimi sorry ko challenge and say our evidence when our baby gina hasi abekeka say
because na see asoma no
na fe kan so di mu aye no call ye no na hwe the way amrante no agi twi e chairman no so no a na tum say the kan MPP to time bomb so
because asoma kan na ye no kre because enye say kan no wehu onu nkwa no wehu
otu ya bi so
ye nyina ye nye so onu nkwa no wehu anaso mi mani tua mi hu bi minim chairman for a minim kra minim chairman for be 6 a super delegate no munya aka obi nya pick up sa cantata pick up bi obi nya
tanka
yes enti won't me nka se enye no kre enye no beti so no se bia wo wanye bi anase wanye bi nya
chairman bi wo wanye bi
obi anya bi because you see how it was done no obi even I think I read there was on one social media voter region and crying on mom's voter region for any scano omo calculating obi na be 66,000 so no nti idea on to me nka say asem na nya no kre na second no kan so no suit bi on suit ya bi
ani esoma normal okogina meet na sinte ho no okoguna ma se
okoguna ni ma sinte ana diska ya ma diska na no chese na eno na baya yare a enye bone me to me delegate candidate or the man no enye bone so akoma ni skill but abaya yare at MPP politics because all political parties omo koto aba anaso mu kugina internal obi anu so mu tuesika but you can't compare what is going on in MPP to any party. I'm telling you. NDC, omo two ye. The whole Ghana. Obi enu wa mahama man more than 100 cities. All the delegates. Through my own investigation.
So no kwanto kwesi.
Yes, obi 40 cities.
Obi 40 cities nto kwesi ho.
No kwanto kwesi ho. Nti ye de ye tua mo obi oye ade nti ye be de na yen hiafo ana say police station from oji party ne so obi atime kogina ene police station executive okọ abato oye posters police station
executive
oye posters aba
AG Alexander on Facebook live was offer this baby any MP confirmed this on UTV this afternoon today by saying he has already secured dollars for incoming primaries.
I don't see a chisel. What's it don't say money laundry?
One run one is
oh, master.
What's $100?
Saturday, if you go baby, Basaba say.
Some move to know. Also, $10 in the go.
Oh, there, if you say, would in short, politics, would you a challenge of a council minister? Ebina, a Miameba, Saminaka Kanya, but me predict the party should forgive her because one.
They're not kind.
Or your bar. Say you want me di amini o busan for di amini o mo yere ne mo me di amini o mo fa say party in co-opposition
aso o mo bi edin
o mo bi say me na make say in general no na nke this or say statement no but was ye just oyo ba so say e ma de
only the sexist
or the emimiya or ye campaign amani kunu but ni kunu nkojana no nkasa asem no it me see yen traso yen forgiving because oyo ba because
Odia prepare
but we share because me Samira is like my daughter. Me didn't call campaign.
Or catch that your mama boys so
yeah, didn't call campaign 2014, 2015. Oh, this is no nanga say handbag krun kitebi.
NNA.
Sa GTP to main a high target or the public Muslim Italian in Seshemu. They were good marry African man. The bag kitu obi no didi nechi. But we saw this in the way of Kasa. But and then say yamia buana say unguma afina so be she brochi kosi broni natari anu board ni wajira here so bag nko bi nkita ma aka so dey asem ho a na ye na ye didi ame nti ye na ya bro pepepe it an ko ni so ka
na me cheza na maji ama mo hu
oh there be say obi nji ma obi hu say bia ye kana na say yakoto na say ye wano o say party for your original chairman for Mwedi Ame Kwache candidate for Mujana win.
Sir,
your original chairman, sir, party ba power. Mwedi Ame Kwache, omo ministers nadi. Inti, okasim ko Mwedi Ame only specific person, but in general, no, you can see a cancer. Aha, because it's one, a konwara, two, a kanukunu. Because one before you be winning election 2016, na sitting montisa. But say you win 2016 or be a second lady you have allowance for the tontare they have allowance for montare you would you pay it at least and no crutches or me what about to impede ujin and now on any castle on the on pay that's the whole party so no service everything yansani in can you say uncle but or your bar I know I can say we should just forget it and forgive her. Yeah, I say by this time, we no know say can you say or yes statement, you know.
Leadership lose control now because no Council of Elders cry yes or more free aspirants now. A bit twetwe so omo hunu fasodie bi e wo.
ADAKABRI say enti me misra say one me two party for ye na ye two ye hofo especially Ken ni team for no. Misra omo say mo constituency mo region mo babia na se beto aba na se aba yen koto no minister bi kura fie MP kura na asaso a na se be ye free and fair yen konkoto me I don't want venue is not a problem to me so you see yen koto no henti o mo nti ase baby e beto di bi I don't care mo pa mo nkoto ni so o MP a o nkoto MP ni fie almost cabinet minister nkoto cabinet minister ni fie once you vote na wo to ya will be counted. I don't have any problem. Then you go to open park. Na say omo de nkofo kogo na ko intimidate mo. Na wa ba na wo to no yankan a. And as you film a, what will you do? Into fairness, near there say you fight. Into obiam when and it say year 2016 you to abada kufo kachire ye no. Make sure your vote is count. Utu wi na ho no bi wani. Ne hu say abana wo to ni yakan. And then they say ban say obi ni electoral commission new. So the police in the be hu hu ono na be fama choma fe be hu so on mana wa ba na ye to ye no ye nkan a kana so free ho. Hey, because yes, he's depriving you from your right.
Nana Mote.
Say me met me fie. My contra to my ba. Next will be a bike just say or your minister and all your MP into the police before and that's what the confirm go say penny no person or dane no.
Where they?
On kana so. Can you really cry for ho? Hey. Because
violence begets violence.
And you're violent because even Ghana Constitution, you and this we see obini the right, obini the human right, and this we see the crime. That's why free ni fie akoto naba. Every year we see waba na meto ye no. So what to ma akoto say ya we see me mfa ma no. And I say me year free.
Also free akoto.
We say me to ma no, me mfa ntum. Na me year free say na ba ya obawe.
Na sokra bewe.
Na sokra meka. Ka free ho. Because
that we are not state in Nwadi.
When we election ya court. We are book arrangement in pe court.
Oh, enko baby.
Ya tu wi anu no. Into so deprived for your right. I mean kase kwakuntokwa. Wo kwana se tu na mpida sa so akotena hoto. Na ye sure say ya kan pepepe. Obi a no yan no de ne de ko. Because at the end of the day as a party, ye na bobom ba ko. Akoye adwuma ade am obi a obewini. I don't care who win. But me right say me vote. Say woman yan kan me vote. And now say me vote to be chinchim me say so be year free mu. Maka ohwene.
Sir. I say
Nti baby I beto no. Baby I beto no, there's not a problem. But be wani kan net na ho say wo koto abama aka no. Wo koto abama Dr. Bawumia. Wo koto abama ya account ni hu say yes we candidate onwini and so Lucy here. Finish we are at the end of the day say MPP na bobom. Na say wo be chinchim me nsa say wo ye minister. And I say we MP, and now we DC, and now we party chairman. Into the chinchim minsa, say me police station, and I said coordinator Maba Yankai. And I say in film me candidate, I'm got to man in radio, Makawaso. Can you hear? If you name
I'll say a divided army doesn't win wars.
And so because we are pepe because at the end of the day, a kunja na told them kokon. Into a koto abe omukopre, into a to abe there is no way. Kennedy Japan be winning obeka so the supporters in omoye campaign be winning. At the end of the day we need a stand from everybody. The same thing on that candidate to win ye na bobom ba kwa ye but aye fear dia ye na ye for odo. And can those days ye to abekura ye wi abon say na koten be ni ye boro. Ye no mse ni ye di agro. And ya man na tan abeda abedem be to say ne mese who support akoto say na so support ba wumi a we ye enemy and also support kana we ye enemy. Obi na say MPP for. Why they will vote it shouldn't come in. Baby on beto abani the many memukura. All what we are fighting for is fairness. We ya two we ya one, we ya two, we ya three ya kind. Nessa we see me nimpa no oti ho no. Me koto abama na say ono ne de MP be chinchin say am obi fufura. Na just say me right, me human right no sisi me. E kwan dia so say can you unifi ho?
Okay. And then we a National Day of Prayer. The new patriotic party, MPP Women's Wing, they are presenting 2 p.m. today. Yeah. National Day of Prayer. And the theme, with God all things are possible. Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Into all party regional offices, insurance offices, when you namunkum to Jenamko Bompae, now it is possible for no and a be empire and become more.
Yankopon Boom. Yankop Obi Honma sorry from Monday to Sunday, 7 days, they be all them.
And so
service Miss Remican, Neddy Dimukra. Obi so Honma or sorry, Cosia Dankwa, on your time, Koyejma, Intinedi Dimukoso, Yankopon Boom, Missy. election na yeba betu we no enye mpaibo enye fasting esi na yebu ya dwunu mi kan wo ye MPO wo ye minister wo ye denyo ye na yebu ya dwunu pe se eye internal abade yakoto nti uhu nua obo se minue nie uhu maame a obo se o maame nie uhu ba obo se o banie ni nyina ide odo akoto menko chinchi obi nsa menka jinika boka enko hye no face cash hye obotom na mfa nko election ground ho no say wo de wo support Mr. BT wo de ka yakese because wo ye cabinet minister emfa
na ma $1 ni bi go there
yeah ko fa wo he but at the end of the day yeah to a me the human right we fi ni fi abato na ba ne de munye sure se makan na ba candidate of the man mu de ahye nenim mu wie na so obi anwi na wawi ni wabo na say wo koyi obi na ba frim pa say wo koyi na ba frim say oto abo na oto ye no wo ye minister wo ye MP wo ye party executive wo chinchim ne sam ye nkan onka waso free ho because they human right
atik hwaso ye
human right is human because Ghana constitution would deprive you from your right kana so hwinsi masa
atik hwaso ye
kana so kana hwini fi won ma ochina e okodi ni post out the hwini si akodi I didn't tell so could deprive you from the right
okay
inti aban bebe obato what to the MP na so they battle in DC office they battle the party chairman
and the campaign ya mo ye no uhunu bitterness bi wo bi kasemo uhunu anger e wo bi kasemo
ADAKABRI the problem is when we say ekunjo to na obi aprea ene de we aka no boso asem eye human nature wuntumi nyi free ho no mo because obi I feel say me a right person my say ebi na say for akoto o can asem o say
so free
akoto the way on na do bread from those time o can asem sa no obi susu onu bi susu okoye campaign onu so bi aka abo no dan me ba na me ka che say ye wo one guy wo Himalawa Denchira Mr. Opoku one of the long service constituency organizers or the motorbike about 10-15 years ago men na ibu ya say so otoso ya fa na dum wa ye adwuma 4 years plus ye nche ne kapre
wow
so into we say nipa no onye bitter and na obi ne ba papa okwe be 70 years or to no be di cry de ma no it at the end of the nipa bebre will bitterness and not because of the election but at the end of the day na ye bomb pa say party ni begina am obi a kakra akona no into so obi kaye campaign amen yanko a anka first cry efe time 17 aspirant ejina na me ye constituency chairman uba to ye say ye nyina kohiem ni ye di nkomo a e say efe woni ala nipa ala enchamanti nipa obi a nipa na na adu nipa ye nyina ye di agro kama enne so who support aspirant bi na and aspirant kan nipa hu a beka sire mo hu saman
sa
ka so hu busum bi no bi kwa wo tia obi tumi ka say we wu tia na ye de simply because be on wo Mr. B or Mr. A you find your party
okay me fancy ya say
me ka cho say media mesre say
November 4 yen to ma
me pom cho ka kire o mo say baby e beto aba ehu hia me candidate ni nipa bi ankoko say e yekoto aba wo ha ye nko de dabi fairness e beto no pope ni dem kura na say fairness beba so akona koto na yen kan aba no sense e beto no open park na ewia be ka se chinchim nsa enti mesre obia especially kind supporters no obia nya na sure say ukoto waba ubie wani na wahwe say waba na woto ni akan wahu ne o candidate ye na wi a wasore akoboko nto kwanim akasakasa bi anim ne ye nyina nkoto aba makene de ohene Japan na omaje party ni si ho na saa etima akam ye ehunhuna nyina abakwa ase ne ye nyina ya party ni ye na party na so abem
right former chairman Ora Jodonko ana ono so wabetu kakra de aguma wie no onam bia na je so awure ha no wabetu kakra gu ai efrima kokoja no kwan ai odo ukoja efrima hwe na wankote ahwe atwede no so koja no ti atik abademo say atik Yakubu, that handsome young man from Denchemoso is around. Sam Jerome of the NDC from Western North. And they just a Jojo Rocky also a bibia. Why ye bibia ma sashi Western North I say abrochri. And he and also so abidua say na nananto as so ebeba. Atiki mo atrase.
That's offer.
Na Sam also mo atrase.
Major so,
Are we so clear? The year, a water region, aftermath of the spillage. And no more cost to see a Yesusu na. Okay, Sam.
Wafa, ye de medase. No memfa akonye so na memfa nchia etie fom pempema agebra 88 nit FM awie anwumre. Na ye kan water region asema. De bia beka se de bia ne asemfofra den eba. Na ebia obi a utie no. Sa nipa kro no onim the reason tia ama ebia ye di water region ho komo. Enyina ye nim as part of VRA anasa akosumo dam because of insu ana omo se abrosu ntie no. Na wo mo nhihye mu no. They felt the need say or say to me be insu ni be. Said the mo betimi save dam no. Na in their quest to save dam no so no. And also the oyene kese e abre pempem kofo bebre both water region part of eastern region and ehun keka ho na ohawi ebaye there've been a lot of issues akoso money ade mpanyfo bebre na akasa with the ane de ebe toja kese pa his excellency yankasa president the various comments he made na ebi mo fi say opinion no na nkanye sa na ewo say okano ebi mo nso justify on party grounds emone ehon keka ho na so wo hwe the latest update na ohaw ni si ye na omosoma Ghana srafo sojafo say omonko say de ometimi aboa na omaboban because Oshe Nkrofana omo aye displaced over 26,000 people. Ana omuni baby te omuni baby eden eda money ade eye ikura sebe enye insuo nanso all of a sudden no o de tabono ana kanun na wo de eden wo di twa eye ikuro ni mu na che say indeed we are not in normal times and until now ehun akwa hia say military no will step in to provide some form of relief at the mawomo because omo akadea itimi eboa to evacuate Nkrofo from baby omo to ebia a safer destination, a temporary safer destination na ebetoja eno ase emrabi anase call bi abase military for no free mepe ene the other surrounding areas na omonko back to nkran anase baby omufi den ebaye no odimonyamfo Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa akasa and in fact ushe videos you saw videos of soldier for no parke omonioma onto their big trucks money ehun keka hone ade so mankofo bisa say ade aso oyene na atukro no ayeden etwa anase free ho. The question is, the answer is there be entry because we share insuo na atahona you can still see say insuo na entwe and unti no na otiase a enye ye in the sense say we are still in this difficult and trying moment until that na won the needed accoutrement and answer niema omode beboa to deal with the situation ya frese omonye dey womo free ho. What is the reason behind that particular corner there? So this goes to justify certain commentary ebimo can say abai no nhyɛ down fahu bebrebe in respect of dia ayeden ato Nkrofo na ayeden egu ho no, and people are politically asking say would it have been a different thing altogether if it happened in other political stronghold? And money, even though that shouldn't be the narrative or conversation, because we yena ehun hia say sebe kafra obe politics and I say obe kan kasebi amanyosem money ehun keka honi ade no there's no need for that, but nneɛma ACC nso no it gives cause to worry and people to ask very legitimate questions. Say ebia adwene po ana menase po bi yɛ den ɛwɔ hɔ a ebi mu ɛyɛ den edi ɛyɛ bibi ana sɛ ɛde yɛ de ɔmo yɛ den ɔmo ɛyɛ no ɛno nti no some of us honorable Okujeto and many others are ɔmo raise ɛyɛ this issue and concern no ɛyɛ ade a wɔfa me gidi pa sɛ wo kra bi a wadi ho nkɔmɔ sɛ ɛyɛ den na esi ɛyɛ den na esi a ama enunti no all of us subsequently the communique came say there've been a U-turn say say ye corner ya nye den ye nya nye den ye nya nko emone
na wo hwe video no ade na so hu se soja fo na efa
mi hu eye won se mi nko soja da nti mi hu omo park omo niema
enye speedboat ba ko pe na hu se na omukuta na omde ko nya ba ko pe basam to nchen
ana wo for once wo can speedboat mu na
ba ko pe na omukuta na omde ko
wo fa no mo de ko wo fa no mo de ko
omti no mo de ko bato
bato
no so ni mepe ho abi
wo fa wo fa we dey mean defend wo mu na we dey ko mu yefi mu na nyame adom
spillage start here and as of for made in Germany for and this is not the first time I have spillage in opening the Akosombo Dam send here ebeya water levels no be to about down then say enko break dam na yede sika twhwi di akosi and na metie VRA one of from technical assistant I think it was on this station or within
deputy chief executive
no I can say so omo anya the gradual spill and the gradual no man started just from October almost started somewhere mid-September until there was sensitization around the community say ya started be but this time no e be enormous e be sinsen ya yete be no until you best started with the gradual evacuation so there definitely there's going to be damage of properties but at least no you'll be able to save life or that is why no life has been lost ever since the spillage started. There was sensitization, gradual evacuation, and this is the biggest ever. No, but I'm supposed to be say now. Damn no, say you hear so the electricity. Now damn no, say you jam so ruguma. Is it not going to produce more electricity? I'm an engineer, but I know say the dam has that ability to contain certain volumes of water. It is a brochure with what deputy variables require. I say dam nubua, it can wash half of Tema into the sea. Into the catastrophe is very big, and mitigating the way that we won't have a bigger casualty. Now, wash it down half of Tema. It means all security installation, this oil companies need depots are along the Kumbari, Honeyminano, say boss, chase, Nasufunia, but washing all of them into the sea. So the cost of it would have been much bigger. And you ever find say the people of Mepe and its environs are just sacrificing for the good of the rest of us. And in sacrificing, no. What we also need to do is one, aside helping them in prayers, we also have to send our contribution to help them. It is all of us our responsibility because so one form of one that's a damn new boy. That means that you're very affected. Let me say a more tema. In case it means that my livelihood has been cut short, and not only me. My livelihood has been cut short.
So you don't worry.
You don't worry.
Man, no, don't worry. I'm not sure yet.
The beautiful ones are.
So.
What da when mo no musa mo ware mo be say mo responsible for bi ba
so the people of Mepe are sacrificing for all of us. It's an unfortunate sacrifice. It's something that they wish it wouldn't have happened, but they are doing it for all of us so that we can keep our lights on. It's your country, together to help them in salvaging their situation. Say tent no betim de akọ but tent ho. Say kakra no betim de akọ na de akọ booma. Say provisions, clothing, mattresses. Contribute because it is not something that is that they wish for, but unfortunately they are suffering the consequences for the greater good of the country. Now, Emrana Samuel Kasano, he made an allegation. I would like to address that some time now, so we come about other points. So he made an allegation against the Ghana Armed Forces. Say Okudzato Ablakwa. That is, it started with Okudzato Ablakwa on Twitter. Say there's been an order from above. Say Omo soldier for asra for more share normal salvage situation. No, I rescue missions now so for no. There's an order from above that they should move from the place to their base. Offer is at times the propaganda should be a bit rich, in the sense that look, Mepe and it environs no, they vote NDC, M block, big time. There's no single region in this country, with the exception of the northern region, that voted 80-something% for the NDC in 2008. There's no single region that has been consistent in voting over 80% for the NDC. So there's no politics, there's no politicization of the issue here. So I can say, as no, Sabi Ekwesi or some region, and Western North, Western North, Bianca constituency, no, some constituency that is a switcher. You can go do that propaganda there. But what do you stand to gain when you do propaganda in a region, a place that you are always winning? It doesn't make sense to me. The politicization of it in the first place was needless. Because there is no way, look, no matter what MPP does, even before the disaster, even if they change the whole place into a modern city, they will still vote NDC. There are no two ways about that. So I don't see why some elements of the NDC seek to do propaganda with it. And then Okudzato Ablakwa, a ranking member in parliament, who says the soldiers have been asked by orders from above to withdraw. And I sat down and I asked, so what will make somebody, let's say politician, a technocrat, call say just because they are sacrificing on community to keep our lives on. So I'm asking them to just come back to base. Like, I just don't get it. What kind of propaganda is this? It doesn't make sense to me. So like I say, they are not getting enough relief items from government, and NADMO is not being up to task. That is a rich propaganda. I'm showing them how they should do it. But to tell me, say, you've asked soldiers to leave the place. Meanwhile, the soldiers have set up an emergency response camp. And there's a picture that soldier for one speedboat. I got to one track, one speedboat to one track. Our community for wow. Normal pager speedboat that too. Then an MP in that area who should know better, who has all the access for information, to have called the security commander, police commander, or the military commander to ask them, what's up? Is there a movement going on? He has whatever it takes. If Okudzato tells me that he has no channel of communication in talking to the people, then then he's not being up to task on his work, or he's being incompetent in this situation. Because as an MP in that area, you should have access to the security heads who are running the activity, including the NADMO. You should call them and ask them, say, then they'll call. When we say the speedboat, then they'll tell you that, say the movie. But you don't move to Twitter to do propaganda at a place that you win over 80%. What is the essence of it? It has no essence. So an MPP win, NDC win, not MPP win, and there's an MPP win. So you can do some propaganda, then it can sink in. You can gain out of it. But what is the essence of a propaganda that you don't gain anything out of it? Emro Okudzato, I could make it that way. and some other people also followed. On Twitter, the Ghana Armed Forces came out with a rejoinder, and this is the press release dated 22nd October 2023, release number 26, issued by the Department of Public Relations, General Headquarters. Ghana Armed Forces personnel have not withdrawn from MEPE. But remember down to paragraph 4. It says, following the deployment of additional personnel and equipment to these distressed communities, the operations being conducted have been varied to suit the evolving situation. It must be placed on record that for the purpose of this operation, Ghana Armed Forces has established an emergency operations center which is coordinating all Ghana Armed Forces activities in a harmonized manner in conjunction with NADMO. It's over. This is they telling you that. In fact, they even have a center there. In this same press release, they told you, Lomuka said, the reason why they were moving some of the equipment is because there's been someone who said, Unsona Ewa Mepeono, above form.
You really be kakra from a honorable member of parliament for a year Northton, a year Sam Ukujeto Ablakwa. And then Ukujeto Ablakwa writes, Lydia Forsen, Nashoko, and friends, God bless your golden hearts for your impressive Sunday package for displaced mothers and babies in the Mepe St. Kizito camp. We are also indebted to your team for the prompt solidarity and effective media campaigns you initiated when the soldiers told us they have been ordered from above to pack their boats and withdraw from Northton. Thanks to Nash Rock's breaking news on TV3 and our collective social media posts, the outrageously detrimental order was reversed within some 30 minutes. The good news of the reversal was directly communicated to me via a telephone call on the phone of one of the soldiers with a superior on the other side when they returned to base. Contrary to the military's damage control statement, all the soldiers returned to post and were not deployed to another area. It is particularly instructive to note that despite claims that the situation in Mepe was under control, therefore warranting a relocation, the detachment returned to the same location to operate and have remained at post to this very moment. One wonders why the situation is suddenly no longer under control in Mepe. I hope a few elements in the military colluding with misguided and heartless political apparatchiks do not succeed in tarnishing the image of our celebrated and highly respected Ghana Armed Forces. Grateful to all well-meaning Ghanaians for their unflinching support. Truth, integrity, and justice shall prevail. This is what Okujeto, together with pictures, actually. What do you make of it?
Fantastic.
Over me and Sam.
My Sam first.
Over we're fantastic because one we say Atik Ekasanika say alarm na Unyamfo Okujeto Ablakwa Erizi, He is thinking, say, ABA, it was out of malice, and I say, ABA, it was needless, as it were. It is OT, and the castle will not say, probably, politics for home, and I say, ABA, on kind of creepy, and I say, or propaganda be, and Sabe Kafro, he doesn't see the sense in it. Because this is an issue about a disaster, which has befallen certain categories of people. One, in Krofa ye kan omwasemi. Last week of Ametanka said, Ebimo omoja padi omuweni na is gone. Omuwiasia brabo omobaye nyina because of this situation abaye ye omabrabo no unless almost besanso hyase obi a ebia na wakodan ne kabia ne saka nisika na eda ho fizo de be sha brabo bia say the money is gone. Like even up till today, people are not sleeping in decent homes and money and you need a place of convenience, money. So certainly the situation has not died down. And so he is corroborating the fact to say, indeed, if they gave the impression say the situation a wo me peno ayede akofomwa, why is it that I think Krampo can say above from so they are moving to other areas to go and help salvage the situation? Why have they come back to the same destination? I didn't know more that's where they ewo baby are not here to mose ayede or how na brasse. So how na brasse, it will only make reason for you to relocate to other places which you think say ABR the adverse effect na nkofo no ayede enya no ayede e was so. But here's the case, Maba baby ayede e and he further on stated to say the damage control, so which means the honorable member still stands say adia okan ye any the what he alluded to, no, they were actually facts, but not say ABR say be oboni sirimu na why or can be just to denigrate the integrity and as a juma Ghana Armed Forces. In fact, he went on to even say there are few people who are working to bring the name of the Ghana Armed Forces into disrepute. In this instance, a juma so ma no nipa kakra bia for a political expediency and as a BB santino one kasa BB just to tarnish the image of the force emoniade, but he has expressed ne niso and I say BB sa de amawon ewo juma so ma dey omaye. That is why offer make BB say so the way they politics to gain what? Because Sabeka Fro obi akomode no ye campaign chire no. Ye campaign jiro obi akomode no. So it also translates to the fact to say obi awaye displaced. Is that a moment a bit me ide akwa politics and I say eye BB sir. Sabeka Fro make kai bia dey ide me ma me beto ho say ye nkohwe ne mortal remains money ehun keka. Se BB bonimpo esikwa mpo na waju mpo nye den enkoso because or how a wom no na we den wo dwene ho ebia akire no na obi kan bibi na the wajune kwa no say oh okay this is beginning to ring bell. Intinatic, we are not doing any politics with it. We will not gain nothing. Ya politics move a year after November 4th my eye then ya shase ntoko ni simo party ni move ya ni ya shase
intinatic what's it Okuja to destroy
what Okuja wrote is not different from what the military also said. And even Okuja statement, no, kind of make a point which I wrote down a statement. I say they were not. They were not deployed to another area, and he said they were not deployed to another area. To say, and yes, say the whole installation, no, another area, but then it was just some personnel. It is some personnel that moved, but there are still personnel at Mepe. Who can paragraph 3 of the statement by the Ghana Armed Forces? I'm going to say it must be emphasized that the humanitarian relief operation into bracket Operation Wafo being conducted by the Ghana Navy's Ravine Command and the 48th Engineer Regiment of the Army is being executed in phases. It's offer say maybe a full stop is now. So you say you analyze because in phases that means that maybe they are limited in equipment. It's phase 1 you will say, phase 2 you will move your this side, phase 3 you will move some personnel across the other side because there are other people who are also from the Akosombo enclave. They are having that same problem, but I do understand Okuja that he is fighting for his constituent, other constituency. In this case, it is not his business. He is fighting for his constituent. So what the Ghana Armed Forces is saying is that, and yes, I shut that in a young move, but you only be at the core other towns are almost more. From that full stop room, the control with as of October 22nd October 2023, the situation in Mepe has been brought under considerable control, and therefore it became necessary for urgently redeploy some personnel and equipment to other distressed communities. So far, they are saying that there are some communities who were and situation no so severe than what is happening that was in Mepe. Mepe was the talk of the movement. He said almost Mepe situation up and down. So now they are now looking at the other places until they moved some people. Sanka, if say there was a total evacuation, the Ghana Armed Forces and NADMO would have just folded their tent and everything that is there, all their military equipment, and they would have been on their way going. One boat, one speedboat, being placed at the back of an armed forces track. It is not evidence to say that they were moving. But I do understand that, he's fighting for his constituents. At times, when we do propaganda and we seek to achieve what we wanted to achieve, that the response should be that the response that he expected from the government, and they say government will come in immediately and say, okay, you know what, allow enough people to be here and just take 3 or 4 people to the other side, so that we just keep the noise down. We don't want any noise. That in a sense, somebody say it's a political blackmail, but it's also part of the politics. It's understandable, but he shouldn't make it seem like there was a total evacuation of police personnel and some military personnel, and somebody intentionally made the call to the Ghana Armed Forces to move. What would the Ghana Armed Forces and whoever that he assumed to have made that call gain from that move? But for me, I would like to go on a bipartisan approach to the issue, and in going bipartisan, this pillage will not end now. Global warming is a reality that has dawned on us now. First, next June, July, and so on. He said of September, December. Nina global warming. Yeah, Nina global warming. So I think that government, in consultation with State Housing Corporation, should be able to find a number of houses what those affected areas. Then we can find a gradual way to move them. And 2-3 bedroom houses here. Oko baby to say offer Ghana consolidated diamonds akwetia. Sandan ketengete na musi nice abrofuni no. They could have built a lot of them. Somewhere far away, say even in the near future, we are going to have a dam spillage. It would affect them. It will affect livelihood. They will build school, they will build hospital, so that we can have a big buffer zone. Because the number of times that this pillage will happen, that is the number of times that people will come together. The government will bring much money to go for relief items and to protect lives. So they should just give a very big buffer. Okay. And we start. They start a new settlement for them.
Right. And Atik Yakubu of the MPP, and I would say, still to come, Sam Jerome of the NDC. Government is saying next year we will spend within our means. Do you believe it?
Ofa, asama aban kan die. On say you say, asamo adanse ene ho no ye twa asem ni bia na wo de adan. Wo de aye adanse. Now President Akufo-Addo ba power no. And even before say obeba power no. Aye edem boshe na wanye dem. Wanye because aye budget deficit was one major concern for aye this administration. Because now office mrano as government you are unable to live within our budget, hence a year deficit a cost row, which accounts for either we are going to borrow or we need to tax people. It's further impoverish the lives of the people. Money a year a honk account. So in dealing with the issue of a year budget deficit, there a year so important, and I have no. We say Abanu make as one of the major campaign promise. But you ask yourself, say, Abani eba a power from a year 2017 up to date. Has he been able to say what he may achieve a year even budget deficit or Nankasa day? Except the man no, the answer is no. So easier for 7 years, you've not been able to live within your means. And in this instance, you use a year 2020 as a justification. Say, so 2020, anyhow we lived beyond a year your means or your budget money are there. It's a reason to be concerned. Say, I buy way on your den, and you do a bit me I den, a debauch and all your den. All can also. of course we would have been able to if say ye boa say eye ketahye anase proye ebe den ebe brasia yetumi ma eno no ebrasia certainly there will be money sir enwunu nti ebetumi aye eye enioma bi aye den esena efata ofa enne menenam afidie ntentan so me kan bibi na me yemu hye me kakra say ohwe eye Professor Stephen Ade na oye I think that's still important appointee of a President Akufo-Addo. I say Akufo-Addo ministers demand 1 million Ghana cedis from a road contractors. And also these are all forms of corruption. And Masika ye enyunugu offer where the anya NDC ni bi no kan o. Ye nyina ye nim the caliber and then the pedigree of a Professor Stephen Ade, most especially in the government of a President Akufo-Addo. Wako GRA money, other boards money. So abribia no ene nsem a yeka se sika enyunugu government appointees are engaged in corruption, the profligacy ene just say enyoma se beka fro emfata a ekoso no eno na wo fa ene AD endemu enti no so if president truly wants to live in accordance with nsem ono ankasa eka there. And I think that most of his appointees today, they wouldn't be able to work in government because they will engage in corruption. That one I can assure you. And if they engage in corruption, say that budget deficit now, best set that target we are setting for ourselves and therefore living within the means. And ya the bet me achieve because sikano ebima eden ebimu adaneno enkwanta. Offer. And yes, ebia mete ha ena me can be bia keke say ebia there is corruption in this administration. Me kai pa o kai contract for sale don't come me money ade former NLA boss do few ones na me ya do few ones na yewura samia wukumu ye den samia mo eba they can award about 11 contracts just within a day so sourcing the man yereketwa I mean owura Kwame Wusu owura ya one owura Kennedy Japan enami okay 14 air condition for 2-bedroom house amone ehon keka ho PDS scandal over 1 billion cedis of bill ya jeje ye hu ba bi sika na den sika no afa Kelno GVG 2.25 billion dollars ye hu ba bi a ayeden afa ene offer a host of others. All this money, then you chance to cry over $800 million. A married deal, yeah. A presidency who was misled in signing this particular deal money at the. She said, "Yeah, she could be unnecessarily. If those monies were even there, and Kebu Habusia day, yeah, Kwakobo, 3 billion, 3 billion, no put the Ura, hopes in Parkacher and say, Yenshi, because 3 billion input the Chanada, the elections." So when we do this as a country, when you have a government or chatting on this path, who be who say be den anyway to me a levy a year within onankasa den onankasa means you certainly cannot live a year within your means. And rechi ya yewura Kennedy Japan call a year sagniru gu ewo esro akoye ne campaign emone ade. Oh, allergy say, a year constituency chairman, your mom 100,000, and then put binti asset it is kind of 1 billion. Your man pick up. I will be deny your much video money are there to show say indeed these monies are going on. So Osha constituencies 275 constituencies. That's a minimum. You more obia 1 billion one. Offer you saying is it 275 million? 275 million OCD.
As the base.
Oh, see this a bicycle. Yeah, then. Yeah, because MPP party no sabeka fro. Enton Moko, Enton Jene. No one can say, Omu make certain monies be or and only yeah, then. Yeah, these are state funds, 275 million Ghana cedis. Yeah, then. Just say, a qua. Anya jume bian fanya de Emma aye or minor. Plus pickups nipo de yenka because I hell pick up. So for 2010 and I say 2013 model money at the crampona It is over 350,000 to 400,000 Ghana cedis.
I never model.
Oh, 2014 ne.
I 2023.
And I make us
2014 9-year-old pickup.
And I make us
400 and something.
I don't put 350 to 400,000. 2014 model.
4 billion.
4 billion.
Me will be Sijabe, me farmer.
Mamma got on.
2013.
Oh, what for man got on Moscow? And the scabble. And 2013, 2022, dear, yeah. For 700,000. Oh, what for?
What on Carabe?
What for?
Said no got pick up.
What for?
Oh,
Wafa
convert to $40,000.
Wafa ye nurumo. Wafa ye more brand nurumo. But it can be why it doesn't scare us. Ye more brand in nurumo. But there are certain monies here.
Last time
Wafa you go for you go
again, how much I don't know. I say, I didn't meet to record also there be once a be in Cedar. I dare be a recording of that such was happening. Someone quite on don't say that. In fact, my Jerry be a Ghana web editor say can't top no jump a paragraph no bad down or kind of we whom. It's only the other one.
I never pick up no you're trying 4 billion a 9-year-old pickup.
I mean, let's massage on propaganda. You see, let's massage it. Well, let's do the propaganda. When facts and we know that we are cartoon and you're vague. There are no facts and figures that anybody can check on. But where people can check on, then you tell me, say Toyota Hilux 2013, 2014 model, 350,000 Ghana cedis to 400,000. By the end, talk as nibi.
And the they said 2021 or also 2013.
Maybe I made emphasis to say 2021 money at the even in 700 to 800,000. When we home use and then brand new.
I think me into
Emra Sam making a submission. He made a comment in relation to people awarding contracts to their families and friends. For so Okaya 2000 and I think 2009 as a mob watching my ne in-law contract be no on my contract I think 2006 on my contract in 2006 in 2008 MPP lose elections. 2009, of Asakaya, there was this arrest of Asama Boatin. So the contract, Akoma Nebuse Nimbi. I think it was a cooking contract or so. Adama Nebuse Nimbi. In Tasanu could pay court. At the end of the day, the court ruled that the person was also a Ghanaian.
But the 2012 Toyota Hilux pickup, about 450,000 cedis. That's all better than Akoto.
Opa, me say on the issue of he's saying that people are giving contracts out. Asama Barton had the same issue in 2009, I think 2010. And who demonstration by a guy because Luso Suleme Kanka. It was in same relation to obey the contract Akoma the Busiani. So there was a conflict of interest. I'm not holding brief for Osamia, but I want him to understand that in law there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as the contract was well executed and for the public good, there's no problem with it.
What's your PPA act?
There's no problem with it because as Asama Barton had the same issue, the NDC took him to court and he won the court case. It happened in this country. Secondly, when we are talking about contract to the man, you give it an American for the public good. What is the public good in spending 3.5 million Ghana cedis in branding buses with pictures of former presidents? What is the public good in it? It happened under your watch. When you're talking about bribery, it is something that we all don't want to hear. We always say bribery and corruption should be a thing of the past because bribery and corruption at the end of the day only profligate the expenditure of the nation because they could bribe or say and you're able to contract also. The two contractors are taxpayers, and they're done also. But Sam, let me remind you, in 2016, the president.
You were very young at that time.
Sam, I'm grown. Oh.
I'm
grown.
In
2016, in 2016, we were in this country when a certain president, was given a Ford expedition. There was an investigation done by an investigative journalist. Later on, after denial of the NDC communicators, they later came to the acceptance that okay, fine, it was given to him, but after it was given to him, he placed it in the presidential pool after denying that something went on, because there was an exchange of the Ford expedition for a contract that was given to a contractor in Burkina Faso. Our bribery, our kickback went as far as international, just building of a wall. Now, war also an the break back ball. So I would take it as at the time, a pound of gold as at that time. No ball, no break no boy, break no ball also as in a pound of gold. In time, when it comes to corruption, issue of bribery, it is with the taxpayers that suffer for it. The Ford expedition is still something that is still hanging on the neck of the former president. And come back to the government expenditure. So check here 2017, 2018, 2019. Before the coming of COVID, our expenditures were under check. We were able to meet our budget deficit. So another the CD to the dollar was also at a point that was well understandable. 2020, abrakwa COVID nisi yeno. And finance minister Ken Ofrata, parliament, no say. There's a Fiscal Responsibility Act, MPP, at Diaba, and the aim of the act, and here Act 982. The aim of the act was an act to provide the fiscal responsibility rules to ensure macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, and to provide for related measures. OSHA section 3 of that same act, section 3 was suspension of fiscal responsibility rules. 1. The minister may suspend the fiscal responsibility rules due to a force majeure or unforeseen economic circumstances, or both, including natural disaster, public health, pandemic, and all that, as if they knew COVID was coming when they wrote this act. As at that time, now, MPP, any NDC, MPs, we are going to suspend the Fiscal Responsibility Act so that the government can be able to go beyond. It's stated, I think it was supposed to be 10% to the GDP, but now they gave both MPP and NDC, including Ato Forsen, who led the demonstration to the BOD, all gave the mandate to the minister to spend. If you give me the mandate to spend, and you don't give me a time frame that I should spend with, time frame I say okay from if it's because of the pandemic in 2020, so we are now going to suspend the Fiscal Responsibility Act so that government can spend. It was the duty of the minority, some MPs, to now come back to Parliament or call on the finance minister to activate the Fiscal Responsibility Act. They did not. They watch, and if you give me the leverage to spend, I will spend, because I have a lot of things to do to get political leverage. I have a lot of things to do. The minority then didn't act, and they allowed the government to spend up to how they wanted to spend. Now, government is saying that we have now activated or reinitiated the Fiscal Responsibility Act. We are going to spend within. Okay. And to spending within, no, we've done it before. In 2017, we did it. 2018, we did it. 2019, we did it. Until 2020, we had COVID.
Final comment, Sam Jerome.
Final comment I make is no crania meaning. Baby, I sisia as on mine. Most especially a mabuna ye war a year on my muhano. wofa yentie enyade a ye de yetie ejina ye ebia ye modie ya ye fortunate but the thousands and millions are eye enne ewie omutie eye wafidie no wofa obi wo ho a ofri kantamanto krampo no nia odi kofie dia koma ne yire ne ma ana ne kunu ne ma ana ne maami bi a ontiapo ana ono ankasa mpoko di no wofa enye ahogono so enu nti no se eba ne sei na won motetin sem bi se eye aban no sikadie basa ene obi a ewo so odi eye flag bearer a onim ni faith impo se obetimi awe in the presidential elections krampo ana say they look at the amount of monies they are spreading, they are spraying, they are chopping. Just all the adjective you can use to qualify this unnecessary spending money are doing in our offer. Ekoso. So a dear ena immobruno into your best abino. Your panacho and what you about cruming still minister be meka say na ketua maye de ne car. DC be meka say bosumasu yin tuameka. A special assistant bimo omon kai. Which means say eye omode omoje omo salaries omo fat pay and into no monye bibi to create opportunities for eye mabunu no but mabunu no monum so nchen ope the alternative is very practicable and obi a waye bida oba beye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama yami ya adom na oba ye run 24-hour economy wo fa mo de mo to kwan sa intino abrochie ye na wo ho. The economy is running. It will create a employment. Nkofo benya biaye. Osi businessmen. They say of a money over despite money they say omoba say you so ana adwina se ana say kurebiasin be investment. Because of say it is a new area mpono. We will even use the form of taxation. We will use their corporate income tax. Give them tax free for a certain moment. And sana it will offer.
Ambassador and farmer Sam Jerome of the NDC. Na yamfa aseda emfama Atik Yakubu of the MPP. Me man teach me na ye de ebremo. Edwade me amedi ho cheme from ADAKABRI Mahmudu Usiuma. Peju koju da me adon edim si abonten. Abra frema bankro ne nana ya osafo na one ehwe on various social media handles. But for now there if ye ne ye ko the fie na ye ko no Olakoku Michael and Abraham Way and a DJ Foreigner. Ekabuma and omode NEAT 100.9 FM. Ufie de ebrey ye nyina ye nkofie ne fie na ye kono Olakoku Michael de beti no ne DJ Foreigner ene Abraham Way